Yeah, hello and welcome to this video. Yeah, this will be just a short, fun game that I just found, I think it was yesterday, because I was looking at some games from two clubmates of mine who are just playing an open tournament. And as it turned out in the first round, there has been some huge upset where the number 2 seed in this tournament, a grandmaster from Latvia, I think, Vistos Myers, he's playing the black pieces in the game that I'm about to show. Yeah, the huge upset was that he lost his first round game. Yeah, he's rated 2,479, so pretty good grandmaster, and he lost against a German amateur player with a national rating of 1680. So this is a rating difference of 800 points. In ELO rating, the difference was about 600 points. So this player's rating of the white side is what it was a bit higher in ELO. But however you take it, 600 or 800 points is quite some difference. So let's have a look at this game. How this player managed this huge upset. He played e4 and Myers went c5. He I know that he usually plays the Petrov or Russian defense with e5 and this which sometimes is yeah, a bit dull, admittedly. It seems that he wanted to have a more asymmetrical position with the Sicilian to trying to win this game. But here we got the notorious Smith Morra Gambit. Yeah, an opening which I always thought to be incorrect until I got this book by American international master Mark Esserman, Mayhem in the Morra, which I did a video review upon last year. And this book really showed to me that this has some practical chances, this gambit. Yeah, well, Myers just took it, and now we get a really normal position from this opening. But okay, Myers is not an expert in the Sicilian. He played this Petrov all his life, and still that is amazing to me that he now played the move on bishop c4, sorry, white's move, bishop c4, that he now played the move knight f6, which is pretty much, yeah, something like a beginner's mistake. It's very well known that this move is not good in this position, and this is simply because white has the very powerful reply e5, which the white player obviously, yeah, know about and played. And this immediately opens up the position and sets black some concrete problems. In fact, just to show, instead of knight f6, black's main options are a6, which actually prepares knight f6. We will see why that a6 move has some relevance in conjunction with knight f6. Or black can play e6, which is also pretty normal, setting up this small Scheveningen center. Of course, a move like bishop g4 check gets punished with the knight. Bishop takes f7. Okay, knight f6, and now this e5 move. So let's go through the lines. What immediately clears that black cannot take with a knight, as this would lose the queen. So after e5, you can take with the pawn, or you can move the knight basically. Knight g4 is probably the relatively best defense after white should take on d6. This is better than e6, which looks good at first sight, but it turns out that black has got some play against this bishop. This is 1 point. This kind of idea is really annoying for white. Okay, but this is not so interesting in regards to the game. Better seems to be e takes d6, and after queen takes and castles with a possible knight b5, white has a very dangerous initiative. It's simply an open position where you've got this development advantage. Still, this is tons better than the game for black. Okay, in the game, the black player, the grandmaster, took on e5.
Check.
And now white takes on d8. Knight takes d8. Yeah, here there's also the move king takes d8. But there's knight g5, and this is also quite hairy for black. Even this, you can argue, is better than the game, but I don't know. Knight a5 is the only try here, with a possible continuation of bishop b5, bishop e6. There's no other way to protect this, and
check.
And you've got something like this, where white has a very, very strong position for the two pawns, because the triple pawns are just so terrible. It just hinders black, and white has got strong bishops. Yeah. Okay, he went knight takes d8, which is far more natural move, and now knight b5. Yeah, here black actually has the chance to
Friend arrived.
I need to switch that off. Here actually black can lose in two moves with a very, very funny sequence, king d7, which is really often played in blitz games, where people simply don't calculate lines sometimes and just play a move.
Check.
After this,
checkmate.
It's an immediate checkmate. It's quite funny. Okay, king d7 is of course silly, but you cannot cover c7, which is the threat, with knight e6 also, because white can simply take and grab this rook now. So what is black supposed to play? Yeah, there's actually only one move to save the rook, and this is to move it. This doesn't look too great. Okay, let's move on. Knight e5. Yeah, with the simple but effective threat knight c7 checkmate. And yeah, what's black supposed to do? Played e6 now. And yeah, here white has more than one promising continuation. In this mentioned book, Mayhem in the Morra, Asserman actually recommends the move bishop to f4, which immediately eyes this rook on b8, and he states that he did a very deep analysis of this position, of course with some computer assistance, and came to the conclusion that this move should be clearly better for white. This whole line is actually really a disaster. It's amazing that the grandmaster allowed this. Okay, but bishop f4 was the move recommended in this book, but in this game the white player, always remember, it's an amateur player with a rating of 1700. He didn't know this recommendation and went for knight c7.
Check.
Which isn't bad either. I mean, look at this position of black's king. So bishop e3, and now white is simply threatening bishop c5 checkmate. It's a quite tragicomical position here of black's pieces. Yeah, this checkmate threat, it's very tempting, of course. And now black played b6, which is basically the only move. You can also look at, and this is a fun line, you can also look at king d6, after which yeah, white is very close to forcing a checkmate. Bishop f4, threatening some huge discover checks here. Knight h5,
check.
Knight b5 check. Yeah, and now black needs to yeah, go back and give away the b8 rook. So something like
check.
Something like this. And of course it's basically winning for white. It's an extra exchange, and black's position is completely without any sort of coordination. But the fun line also is if black goes to c5, then there's an immediate checkmate coming up.
Check. Check. Check.
And
checkmate.
And mate. Yeah, very nice. And it's completely forced after the king goes to c5. Okay, so this is what would happen if black would play king to d6. He played in the game, which mentioned it was better, b6. Yeah, here white of course has some choice. I mean, I didn't do a very deep analysis here for alternatives. White can also think about just castling short. This is actually what I think Esselman is recommending in his book. In this game here, the white player went for long castling, which isn't illogical or bad either. I mean, it immediately brings the rook to the d file, and black's position is not at all easy to defend. Yeah, and this is also what we'll see immediately now. What black now should do is he should probably play the move rook to b7. I think this is maybe even the only move. It's of course not the most aesthetic looking move ever, but you need to do something against this invading knight. A possible continuation, and probably a logical one, is white retreating to b5. I mean, you cannot cover this piece in any way. Going back here, and now black playing knight to d5, returning a pawn. And I'm not sure if white has anything else than now getting the pawn back. I mean, you don't really want to, because you open up the c8 bishop. I mean, this kind of scenario. You open up the c8 bishop and sort of free black's position a bit, but probably you don't have anything better. It's hard to get around this d5 knight. Okay, so white would take it as mentioned, and now probably f6, rook h to d1. Yeah, this is just a sample line. Don't claim to be
check.
I don't claim to be that this is a perfect line, but this seems to hold for black, at least for the moment. It's not fun to play, but it's not losing immediately. And you must say, well, not losing immediately is an accomplishment in this position, because look what's happening. I mean, the grandmaster now played knight to d7, and this is now really nicely played by the amateur player here. He played bishop to f4, which is just the best move in this position. It covers the e5 knight, but also really puts this bishop on the critical diagonal, and it's pretty much lost now, this position. I mean, black is without any defense here. Knight d7 already was the losing move. Here you can look at various tries for defense. What he played is knight takes e5, but what is actually the threat that white might have? Let's say black makes some zero move. Yeah, he does nothing. What is the problem then? White would go bishop to b5, and this is now very, very annoying. What should black do now? If you take on e5, I will show that later, but let's say he goes here, then there's this neat move.
Check.
Oops, sorry.
Check. Check. Check.
and this is checkmate after bishop e5 coming. So let's say this.
Check. Check. Checkmate.
Yeah, quite nice. We have quite a couple of fun checkmates now. Oops, sorry, I pushed the wrong button here. So this was bishop f4, and I was just thinking about what would happen if black does nothing. So this was the game, but h6, bishop b5. This was the move that is so problematic. If black now takes, we've got this coming up. f6, yeah. What else? There's simply no other move. White is at least threatening knight d5. But okay, let's say f6. I was just want to just illustrate this idea. It's also quite funny. You don't see this too often. Bishop e8 check, which is covered from c7. And now at the end, the d8 knight is hanging, so white wins a piece with an overwhelming position. Yeah, this was h6. Of course, not a move that makes terribly much sense, but I just wanted to show what would happen if black does nothing, or doesn't react in any sort of way. Another try, which is maybe, I don't know, maybe a bit tougher to defend, to defeat, is a rook to b7, attacking this knight. Yeah, it doesn't really help as well, but maybe this was better. I don't know. Bishop b7, bishop a6. This is a problem. What is this rook doing now? Yeah, something like
check.
This is just a winning endgame. Yeah, black is pretty much lost here after this bishop a6. What I wanted to show is rook to b8, where knight d5 isn't bad at all, but you've got some fun alternative here in rook takes d7 check. This was also a funny line that I looked at. King here.
Check.
Yeah, and now there's rook d7 coming. Let's say something like this.
Check. Check.
Yeah, it looks it looks tricky. So let's say yeah, if black would move the king now, let's say here, then
friend
knight
departed.
a8, king here, and rook d8 is a quite fun way to finish black.
Checkmate.
With a very nice mate. The two bishops doing the job. Or alternatively, king to b8.
Check.
There's this check, and king a8 is already known. So no move really. Yeah, there are some real funny lines leading to quite nice checkmates. Okay, so we were at this position, and now what black tried is he took on e5, and bishop takes e5 simply. Yeah, and now the problem is simply again those kind of moves are an issue, but also bishop d6. He played now knight to c6, which is yeah, not better or worse than anything else.
Check.
Bishop f6, bishop d6 check, and now king to d7. Yeah, now something quite curious is happening. I'll show what happened in the game. Bishop e5 check, king e7. Black doesn't have any other move. White gave the check again, and now black went to f6. which is quite funny because I mean he could play king d7, just repeating the position, and then it's a question if the white player really would find the winning move. I mean, it's not so difficult, but there's also a chance that white, being almost 800 points lower than his opponent, would just take the draw. I mean, and half a point is better than losing. So I'm quite stunned that black didn't do king d7, and hope that maybe the white player was was thinking, okay, a draw against the grandmaster is not bad. I'll probably manage one in my life, and I'll take it. And maybe he doesn't find the winning continuation. So well, black played, as mentioned, king f7. But I must show, of course, what would happen after king d7 if white would now play the right move. And this is bishop to
check.
g3 check, king e7 only move, and then just rook e1. This isn't too difficult, I guess. If you give this white player the position, he would probably find it, but you never know. I mean, you're sitting there playing against a grandmaster, and you got him in a way, but you need to find it, and you never know. But okay, this is winning now. Black has really no moves. This sets up knight d5 check, and what should black do? There is really no move. He could try to escape here, but this is just answered by a knight e8 check. And white here can at least take the exchange, of course, but there's probably even something better. Bishop b5 is, for instance, a really strong move here, with ideas like, just to show it, bishop d7,
check.
Rook takes d7 again.
Check.
Yeah, and now
check.
This isn't an extra exchange, but an extra piece, which is much easier to win. So white would win relatively easily, but okay, keep in mind, we had this position, and here white played
check.
Bishop e5. He didn't find it in this position.
Check.
And well, why not go to d7 and try to get a draw? I don't really understand. Okay, black played king f6, and I think this is even easier. I mean, for white to find this, what is now winning, because now white can simply play knight e8 check, king to g6, and grab this. And well, this is easier than rook e1, don't you think? Now he played bishop to c5. The problem is also, after this here, it's not just an exchange. There's rook d8 coming, and this is now really embarrassing. Black only has one move, bishop a6, to avoid further losses, but this now has awfully displaced the knight, and after knight d6, for instance, there's also this pin here, so black cannot move the bishop. Yeah, he tried bishop to c5, to which white just dropped back the bishop, rook takes, and bishop b5, nicely keeping the initiative. Yeah, bishop b7, nothing else, and rook d7. Yeah, and now it's really over. Black could just resign here. Actually, it's possible that he actually resigned. In the game file that I pulled from the website, there are two more moves here: a6 by black and bishop d3 check, and now it's 1-0. White is winning and black resigned. I'm not sure if this really was played. Sometimes the last one or two moves were played out on the board just after the game was finished. Like, okay, if you would play a6, I would play bishop d3, but they were not really played. I'm not sure. This move a6 really doesn't make much sense to me.
check.
If you play this, you can easily also resign, because everyone will play bishop b3. Okay, so a fun game where a rating difference of 800 points against the Grandmaster was overcome. And yeah, I always like to see and watch those games where there was a huge upset, because it simply shows that it's always worth fighting and trying to do something that you really didn't expect to be able to do. And it also shows that if you want to beat a stronger player, you are usually much better off with playing some active, aggressive setup than with some I don't know, slow and passive kind of play. Of course, it was lucky for the white player that Myers actually played this knight f6 move, which is really bad. But okay, you need to. White has risked something with the Smith Morra, and he got rewarded for this. Sorry, I just kicked over a bottle here. He got rewarded for this. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this fun game, and yeah, I'll be back soon with new videos.